standing here with William Thatcher, a survivor of the Black Plague. William, can you tell us what life was like when the plague hit?
Well, it was a nightmare. In 1348, the plague swept through our village like a shadow of death. One day, my neighbor was fine, and then the next he was burning. The next he was burning with fever, covered in boils. Whole family perished overnight. We couldn't bury them fast enough.
Wow, that's terrible. What was the hardest part?
The hardest part was the fear. You never knew what would be next. We thought it was God's punishment, but now I hear something called bacteria. All I know is that life was never the same. Those of us who survived had to build from nothing.
I'm here with Johan Byer, a local townsman who witnessed the events of today's hunt. Johan, can you tell us what you saw?
It was horrifying. They dragged Martha Weber just a baker's loaf into the square. The priest shouted that she cursed the crops, but she wasn't crying, saying it wasn't true. They tied her hands and threw her into the river. When she shanked, they called it proof of guilt. How can someone prove their innocence like that?
That's terrible. That's deeply troubling. Johan, what was it? What's it like now?
Fearful, depressing, everyone's suspicious of everyone and afraid they're next. They seem to be targeting women, midwives, herbalists, widows, people like that. These witches be wildin'.
Thank you, Johan. Back to you, Anchor. And today, Martin Luther, the local monk, nailed his 95 theses to the church door behind him. He's telling me the church's practice of selling indulgences, claiming it exploits the poor. I spoke to a nearby townsman who witnessed it all. His name is Hans Keller. Keller, what did you see?
It was incredible. He stood there calm, hammering the paper to the door. People gathered moving low. One line said something like, "Why doesn't the Pope use his own love to build the church?" And it made us all stop and think. He's saying what many of us feel, but are too afraid to say.
Hey, and how do you feel about the Luther's message?
Honestly, still afraid, but hopeful. If the church fights back, what will happen to him or us?
It's understandable. Thank you, Hans. The attention here is as palpable as Luther's words spread. Thanks, William. The streets here in Amsterdam are bustling like never before. Traders from across Europe flood the city, and there is thick with the scent of species, textiles, and wealth. I spoke with Anna van der Meer, a local merchant's wife, about the impact this prosperity has had on the daily life.
It's incredible. My husband's shop has never been seen such success. People have come from everywhere, Spain, Portugal, even the East Indies. We're selling goods we never dreamed of before, silk, porcelain, and rare spices. The city has become a trade hub for art and culture.
Wow. And how does it feel to live in a time like this?
It's a bit overwhelming, but there's a sense of opportunity. We feel like we're part of something bigger. It's not just the merchants, everyone, from the artists to the shipbuilders, it's flourishing.
Thank you, Anna. Dutch Golden Age is clearly transforming the city, fueling about economic growth and cultural innovation.
Our usual reporter is sick today. He caught something like the Black Plague. I'll be stepping into it. The atmosphere here is tense, with whispers of conflict growing louder. Just days ago, the defenestration of Prague, a shocking act where Protestant nobles threw Catholic officials out of the window, sparked fears that war is on its way. I spoke with Jan Novik, a local resident, about the impact the city had on the city.
Things have changed overnight. We've never seen the city so divided. The Catholics and Protestants are on odds, and the tension in the streets is palpable. The nobles already have taken their sides, some are preparing for battle, while others are just trying to keep their heads down.
Jan, do you think this conflict will spread beyond the Prague?
It already is. I've heard of armies gathering across Europe. People are worried. No one knows where it went.
Thank you, Jan. Anchor, the fear of war is spreading, and Europe is on the brink of one of the most devastating conflicts in its history.
Streets of Paris are buzzing with conversation as thinkers and writers discuss new concepts of reason and individual rights. I spoke with Henry Dupont, a local merchant, about the growing influence of Enlightenment ideas.
Everywhere I go, people are talking about liberty, equality, and fraternity. It is not just scholars that the common folks too. We're hearing about new ideas from Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu, challenging old beliefs about monarchy and religion, as if we were walking up to a new world.
And how is the monarchy responding to these ideas?
The kings are not happy about it. You could feel the tension. Some say that new ideas could threaten his power. But people, we're ready for the change. We're questioning everything now.
Thank you, Andrew William. There's a palpable sense of anticipation in the air as these revolutionary ideas spread, promising up to transform society. Madrid is a city on edge. The death of the Spanish king, Charles II, has led to fierce disputes over who should inherit the throne. I spoke with Alejandro Garcia, a local soldier, about the morning conflict.
It's chaos. The king's death has left a power vacuum, and now the French want to put their own candidate, Philip of Anjou, on the throne. But the rest of Europe won't stand for it. They fear the French will dominate all of Europe if they control Spain too. I've seen families torn apart by this war.
Terrible, terrible. How do the common people feel about this conflict? How do they feel?
Most of us just want peace, but war's already here. Every day I see more soldiers passing through, and we're all being pulled through into something much bigger than we ever wanted.
Thank you, Alejandro. William, the situation in Spain is becoming increasingly dire as European powers line up for war, all vying for influence over the Spanish throne.
I'm filling in for the other reporter because he got COVID again. The atmosphere here in Versailles is tense. Just hours ago, a massive crowd of women, angry and desperate, arrived at the gates of the place, demanding that King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette address dire food crisis. I spoke with Jean Laveria, a local baker from the Drove in March.
It's madness. The bread prices are through the roof, and people are starving. The king and queen are too far removed from reality. The people are suffering, and the response is to ignore us. We're here because we can't feed our families anymore. Something needs to be changed.
Jean, do you think this march will force the kings to act?
It's hard to say, but we've come all this way and we won't stop until they listen. This might be the wake-up call they need.
Oh, thank you, Jean William. It is clear that the frustration of people have reached a boiling point, that this march could mark a significant turning point for the monarchy.
So Paris are tense and filled with fear. The reign of terror led by figures like Robespierre has gripped the nation. The guillotine stands as a grim symbol of the government's resolve. I spoke with Claire Moreau, a local seamstress, about what it's like to live through these dangerous times.
It's terrifying. People are being arrested, put on trial, executed for the smallest offenses. If you're even suspected of being against the revolution, you're condemned. My neighbors are disappearing, and I fear every day that I could be next. The streets are full of whispers. No one trusts anyone anymore.
Claire, do you think the revolution will continue down this violent path?
I don't know how much longer it can go on like this. Every day brings more bloodshed. I fear we've gone too far to turn back.
Thank you, Claire. As the reign of terror rages on, the future of France remains uncertain, with fear gripping the nation as revolutionary ideas clash with ruthless violence.